In the winter of 1959, a chilling mystery emerged on a nameless slope in the Ural Mountains, now called Dyatlov Pass. 9 experienced hikers vanished into the wilderness and never returned alive. Their tent was found abandoned, cut open from the inside, with all their gear left behind. They fled into a blizzard, into sub-zero temperatures, leaving behind every means of survival. What could drive seasoned mountaineers to such a desperate act? Footprints led calmly away from the tent, some barefoot, some in socks, into the darkness. The hikers were found scattered across the landscape, their bodies telling a contradictory tale. The official investigation was swift but inconclusive, sealing the files for decades. Authorities blamed a compelling natural force, but this only deepened the mystery. What force could terrify experts into abandoning shelter for certain death? The mountain, Kolatshyakal, Dead Mountain, was a place of legend, shunned by the local Mansi people. Did the hikers encounter something ancient, or something secret and modern? The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains a stark reminder of the power of the unknown. Even today, the silence of that mountain holds a secret, echoing from the frozen past. The questions have multiplied, turning this tragedy into one of the most enduring, unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. The evidence left behind told a story, but it was a story no one could decipher. The hikers' final moments remain shrouded in confusion and fear. The line between the known and the unknowable is terrifyingly thin here. The mountain's silence is a testament to the enduring power of mystery. What happened on Dead Mountain that night remains unanswered. The Dyatlov group were skilled students from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, led by Igor Dyatlov, a meticulous and experienced leader. Their goal, a 300-kilometer trek through the northern Urals, ending with an ascent of Otorten Mountain. The team was close-knit, bonded by their love for the mountains and trust in each other. Yuri Yudin, the 10th member, turned back early due to illness, becoming the sole survivor. The expedition pressed on, facing harsh weather, but confident in their skills. No one could have predicted the tragedy that would turn their journey into legend. The Dyatlov group's fate remains an enduring mystery, one only the mountain knows. The group's journey into the Urals was grueling. Endless snow, biting wind, and temperatures near -30. Yet their spirits were high. Diaries and photos show laughter and teamwork. On January 31st, they cached supplies in a valley to lighten their load for the final ascent. Their last camp was set up on the exposed slope of Kolatshyakal, not in the shelter of the forest. Why camp in such a vulnerable spot? Some say it was for practice, others that they lost daylight and stopped where they were. The weather worsened as they pitched their tent, winds rising and snow falling. The final photos show them working together, focused and calm. The last journal entry was brief, noting plans to continue the next day. That night, something went terribly wrong. The silence of the mountain was shattered, and 9 lives were changed forever. Their planned ascent was abandoned for a desperate flight into the darkness. The group's professionalism and preparation make their fate all the more baffling. There was no sign of panic, until the moment everything unraveled. The mountain kept its secret as the storm raged outside. The last night in the tent would become the heart of the Dyatlov mystery. What happened in those final hours remains unknown. Weeks passed with no word from the Dyatlov group. When their scheduled telegram never arrived, concern grew. On February 20th, a search party was launched, soon joined by the army and police. On February 26th, searchers found the group's tent, collapsed, half-buried, and eerily abandoned. The tent had been cut open from the inside. Belongings were left neatly behind. Skis stood outside, and a flashlight lay atop the snow. The hikers had fled into a blizzard, leaving behind their only shelter. Footprints led away, some barefoot, some in socks, down the slope toward the forest. The tracks showed people walking calmly, not running in panic. Why would they leave their tent, half-dressed, in deadly cold? The abandoned camp was the first clue in a mystery that defied logic. The searchers could only guess at the terror that drove the group out. The tent's silent testimony raised more questions than answers. The footprints vanished into the snow, leaving only uncertainty behind. The mountain's secret remained buried beneath the ice. The searchers followed the footprints to the forest's edge, where they found a small fire and the bodies of Doroshenko and Krivonishenko, dressed only in underwear, hands battered from climbing a pine. 3 more, Dyatlov, Kolmogorova, and Slobodin, were found between the tree and the tent as if trying to return. All had died of hypothermia, except Slobodin, who had a fractured skull. For months, the fate of the remaining 4 was unknown. In May, as the snow melted, Dubinina, Kolovatov, Thibaut Brignol, and Zolotaryov were found in a ravine, buried under meters of snow. They were more warmly dressed, having taken clothes from the others. Unlike the first 5, these 4 had suffered massive internal injuries, skull damage, fractured ribs, without external wounds. The force was compared to a car crash, yet there were no signs of struggle. The search was over, but the mystery had only deepened. Why did some die of cold while others suffered violent injuries? The group's final moments were a puzzle of fear, desperation, and inexplicable violence. The mountain had claimed its secrets, leaving only questions behind. The investigation was just beginning. The world would soon be captivated by the enigma of Dyatlov Pass. Investigators faced a baffling set of facts: 9 hikers, some dying of cold, others from crushing injuries, and traces of radioactivity on clothing. One modern theory points to infrasound low-frequency waves generated by wind over the mountain, causing panic and terror. Infrasound can trigger irrational fear and physical discomfort, driving people to flee without reason. The hikers may have cut their way out of the tent in a panic, escaping an invisible threat. Once outside, the cold and confusion sealed their fate. Hypothermia can cause victims to undress, explaining the lack of clothing. The severe injuries may have resulted from a fall into the ravine. The infrasound theory offers a natural explanation, but the mystery endures. The facts refuse to fit neatly together. The Soviet investigation ended with a vague conclusion. The hikers died from an overwhelming, compelling force. The files were sealed, fueling decades of speculation. Theories range from avalanches and katabatic winds to military tests and the paranormal. No evidence fully explains the injuries, the panic, or the radioactivity. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the world's most enduring mysteries. It fascinates because it sits at the crossroads of human courage and the unknown. Despite all our knowledge, some forces remain beyond understanding. The 9 hikers left behind a legacy of mystery, not failure. Their story, frozen in time, continues to challenge and haunt us. What do you believe happened on Dead Mountain that night?